What's up, guys? Lately I've been getting asked a lot to share my TradingView setup, which indicators that you use, drawing tools. So I'm just going to walk you through that. Just so you know, you can have multiple templates saved. So I have a couple monitors here. So what I'll do is I'll have these templates saved on my startup. And that way when I just click it, I get my 6 charts to open up and I just drag it up to my top screen. That's what I do. I put it exactly where I want to put it on my LGs, and then I'll get my top charts on the right. I'll do the same thing. It'll be 6 different tickers all set up, and I'll pop it up on the top chart. So up top, I'll have 16 charts. I used to have about 8. Now I'm going with 16 because the market's extremely hot. But let's get into it, right? So let's just go to a basic chart here. And when you're looking at your templates in TradingView, you can switch this here. You want 1, you want 2, however you're trading throughout the day, whatever. We're just going to focus on one chart here. I have a plain chart. So up over here is where you can save your templates. Okay, so you could save an indicator template. You can use some of the templates that they give you. Make sure you're using the indicators that you find work for you. Don't use indicators that, hey, this guy's using this guy's using that. Everyone's using different things. Work with what works for you. Don't flip around too much. Get accustomed to trading with your favorite indicators and not moving around. Hey, I'm going to try this new thing. I'm going to try this new thing. It's going to throw you off, and it's going to make charting extremely confusing and giving you too many entry and too many exit signals, so that you're suffering from analysis paralysis and you never know when to enter. You never know when to exit. So this is a plain chart. Plain chart, simply when I want to look at the chart, just the candlesticks. This is all I want to see. I don't want to see any indicators. I don't want to see anything throwing me off. What's the chart telling me? Because when I look at a chart, first thing I want to know is what kind of a trend are we in? Where's the support and resistance? That's the most important. Do we have any patterns? Patterns are easily visible without any indicators on the chart. So that's really why I have a plain chart. And sometimes over here I'll switch it to a line chart to see, you know, hey, we could draw some trend lines. Do we see any patterns? So that's what I do with the plain chart. This one's called the oscillators, and I actually only use the MACD and the RSI. I don't use anything else. So on this chart, I'm really just focusing, what's the MACD telling me? Okay, RSI, I have it on basically every chart minus the plain chart. And then I have my master chart, and this is one we're really going to go through today. The other one I don't really use at all is just to add the third deviation Bollinger Bands. So just every once in a while, if the market's just a little bit too hot or the ticker's a little bit too high, I'll just quickly check on the third deviation Bollinger Band and see where we are. So let's go through here. Here's the master chart. So on the master chart, we have the volume profile. Okay, this is the volume profile. And anything, guys, you could always change the colors. You just right click it and you figure out the color pattern that you want. I want something that's not intrusive, so it's kind of just hidden in the background. That's why I like to keep things light. Basically, my inputs here are row size is 100, the value area size is 70. Basically, that's the style. I don't use the point of control, but every now and then, if you want to check out the point of control, you could just bring it up, or the developing point of control. You could do a lot with the volume profile. I don't use it too much. I just like to know basically where we are in this past trading range. Where is the volume going to be? Well, you know, basically you can kind of see that it's going to be over here. So I lightly use the volume profile. So if you're looking for where the volume profile is, you go to indicators. It's right here on the left hand side. You just click volume profile and it'll bring that up for you. Okay, so to understand the volume profile, it's really, you see the price range for this period of time, and I have it in visible range. So if I move the chart, it'll adapt to what we're looking at. You could set it to be a fixed range. You could go to session volume profile. That's if you really want to use it as one of your main trading indicators. I don't. Overall, I like to know, okay, are we coming up to high volume nodes? If we're coming up to an area where we're going to have high volume nodes, we know we're going to come up to a resistance area. It's just some confluence with what we already know, what we already should be able to see from price action. But we want to know where are the key high volume nodes. And again, if we're coming back down to a high volume node area, we should anticipate that we're going to start to see some pressure here for a curl, for a move back to the upside, because we should be coming into some support. That's how you would use the volume profile. So what do we have here? These are the Bollinger Bands hidden over here in the background. So let's actually take everything off here and let's go one by one. Let's do that. Let's actually go one by one so everybody could see everything very nice and tight here. Take off the bands and let's go from there. Okay, so take off the Ichimoku cloud and let's go from here. So obviously RSI, relative strength index, the most widely used oscillator along with the MACD, but RSI I like it a little bit better. So RSI favorite indicator for an oscillator. Have to have it, in my opinion. If you're trading without RSI, then you're missing out. You're missing out on a lot of signals, including understanding the divergences that are developing between the oscillator and the chart. You could go check out the trading divergences link, which is in the description here. So let's start with the top one, Ichimoku cloud. There's a link on how to understand the Ichimoku cloud as well. So I use the Ichimoku cloud, but I focus on the Kumo cloud for the most part. So basically what that means is the Ichimoku cloud without adding the conversion base and lagging is just the Kumo cloud. So we're just using the basics of the lead 1 and the lead 2 over here, which creates the Kumo cloud. So that's my favorite, one of my favorite trading indicators to use. Very dynamic, highly recommend it. That's why I have an educational video on it. 200 moving average. Yeah, it's very simple moving average, very important chart for the health, important indicator for the health of the chart. Is the chart below the 200 or is it above it? If it's above it, it's a healthy, strong, long-term trend. If it's below it, it's not a healthy trend for the bulls. It's a nice, healthy trend for the bears. So you want to be trading above the 200 in the longer picture for a long-term hold. 50, more short-term, but again, very important, simple moving average. So charts trading above the 50 are stronger, charts trading below the 50 are weaker, and you can use this on any time frame, of course. The 21 EMA, this is one I just flip around, so every now and then I'll check out the 21 or I'll check out the 13. Not widely used from my trading perspective, so every now and then I'll just bring it, depending and see how strong is the chart right now, how much is it pulled back. I'll flip-flop between the 21 and the 13 and the 5 in this case, which is all Fibonacci levels. VPR, this is the volume profile. This is what we already talked about. And again, guys, you could always just change the colors. You hit these settings wheels on any of these, you could change the colors. Same thing over here. You want to change the outlook of how the RSI looks, you could just do that here. The VWAP, and the VWAP is for the session. Okay, I'll talk about the anchored VWAP after. So basically when the bell rings, this is the VWAP from when the day started to when the day ended. Pivots, so this pivots high and low gives you our top prices and our bottom prices. Now I have it at 15.15, so you could change it. If you want to see more price levels, you would bring it down and you would say, hey, I want to see it more tighter, so I want to see the 5. And you see how more pivot points are popping up in the chart. This ends up getting a little bit too confusing, too much information, too much data on the chart, especially when you go to like 6 charts or 8 charts above and you have a very small window space. You don't want to have all that information. Plus, I basically can eyeball very quickly where the support and resistance is, so I don't really need to have this. I actually keep it up 15 and 15 for just educational purposes when we do the video, so people understand where we are relative to the chart, in case you can't see these numbers here. And again, you can always change the outlook of that. 8 exponential, this is my favorite. Whatever color you want to use. I'm now using a light gray just to keep it not intrusive. 8 exponential moving average for the short-term strength of the chart. Is it really strong right now, trading above, or is it weak, trading below? Strongest charts are always trading above the 8 exponential moving average. I have the 5 EMA here, Bollinger Bands. Okay, trading Bollinger Bands should be pretty simple, but if you don't understand what Bollinger Bands are, the middle line is the 20 simple moving average. So this is the moving average of the last 20 candlesticks. Okay, so that's what the red line will be, and the top upper Bollinger Band will be 2 standard deviations away from the middle Bollinger Band, and the bottom will be 2 standard deviations away. That's why it's called BB20 close to, so 2 standard deviations away. And then volume, of course, everybody understands. You have to understand volume if you're trading. You need to understand volume. And last but not least is just to add the 3rd deviation Bollinger Band. So very simple. For indicators, nothing too confusing, nothing too daunting, easy to learn, all of them. And if you don't understand a couple of them, I have a couple of videos that could teach you about them. These are my trading tools, drawing tools. So anything over here you can add a star to. Okay, I've talked about this in a previous video. So if you use that tool, you could come over here and add a star to it. If it's something you want to add to your game here, you could come just add star to it and put it. So I use the ones that I primarily use. So we got a horizontal line here. This one will go all the way across. Okay, that's the horizontal line. That'll go all the way across. So let's just remove that. Here's an arrow. So if you just want to go to a pointer, and then we have our cursor if we want to go to, our cross, if we want to see, all the way across and or up, or however you want to look at it. So you're looking down over here at the RSI, you want to look up at the price, you see the vertical line that goes up. So very easy. This is to measure targets. Okay, this is called price range. So this is to measure targets down, how much have we moved, how much have we pulled back, very simply. By the way, this thing here erases the previous action. What do we got here? I got an arrow. Okay, just signify for doing video purposes, illustration. We got this one's called the trend line. So this is just a trend line here. And you could draw, just like this. There's a different trend line here, which is the ray, which is a little bit more precise. Okay, it's a little bit more precise than the horizontal line. What do we got here? This is called a square, a rectangle. So we got a rectangle. This is when I really just want to, highlight a key resistance or a key support zone. This is what I use for drawing channels. Okay, and it's called channel. Very simple. Parallel channel. So you can add a median line to this if you want to have a median line in your channel drawing. Sometimes I'll put it on, sometimes I'll take it off, which is over here. Okay, and you can see we just added a median line. What else we got here? We got the head and shoulders pattern. Okay, this is if you want to draw the head and shoulders pattern and have the neckline drawn for you. Very nice tool here. It gives you the neckline so you know exactly where that trend line is, where the support is, and an area you don't want to break. What is this called? This is called eclipse. Okay, eclipse when you want to highlight a particular area. And the ray we already did. Triangle. Okay, if you want to draw a wedge or a triangle or pennant, whatever. There you go. That's the nice triangle too. Here's a horizontal ray, but it only starts with where you start it and it goes that way. Like unlike the horizontal, it goes all the way across backwards. This will only start from where you click. So keeps it a little bit nicer and tighter. Here's Andrew's pitchfork. So when you're trying to draw a pitchfork over here, you just grab your ABC. I have a video on that as well. You could check it out. You could change it to the original Andrew's pitchfork, shift, modified shift, and then you could add more layers using the Fibonacci levels over here by just clicking them on. Do you want to add those numbers on there for you? What else we got here? Fibonacci's, okay, and that's not set up correctly right now. So let's just really quickly add those back on, and there you go. So now you see we have our Fibonacci retracement tool. What else we got over here now? And this is the date and price range. So if you want to understand how many days, how many bars it's taken and for us to move. So, how many days is it taking for us to get from here to our top? How many days, how many bars? So it took 52 bars, 37 days, $465, 20%. So that gives you a little bit more precise details. Over here is a Fibonacci channel. So essentially that's how, what I believe it's called, fib channel. Yeah, so there you go. If you want to draw fib channels, that's the tool you're going to have here. Here's what I use to draw, pivots in the chart, head and shoulders patterns, illustrations. This is just a markup tool. Okay, if you just want to make a simple draw, these like not so important tools, brush, curve. This is just for illustration. Anchored VWAP, I would recommend. So you want to understand where's the average person in, where's the average price in from a pivot point in the chart. So you grab it there, you add it, you would understand, okay, in this chart, since our bottom here, everyone's basically in at 2202. That's the average price. So you know that's pretty much a key point in the chart. That's it, guys. That's my trading view. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Don't forget to give a thumbs up to the video. Thank you very much for watching. Peace out, everybody.